Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be talking about infections and lupus or other autoimmune diseases. If you have an autoimmune disease, you might be on immunosuppressants, and that makes you more susceptible to infection. Before we get started, I want to ask you all how often you get infections and what infections do you get the most? Some common infections can include from the bacteria family. You can get staph, strep, E. coli, salmonella, those are some common bacteria ones. Also, there's candida, which is fungus, and herpes zoster is viral. Herpes zoster, example of that would be shingles. I have had shingles. I've never had E. coli or salmonella, thank goodness. I don't think I've had staph, but one thing that I get a lot of are urinary tract infections. Another common one would be ear infections. And I've actually had a toe fungus before. I know, disgusting, not something I want to share, but it is what it is. When you're on lots of immunosuppressants, it's almost bound to happen, and it's quite unfortunate because it's hard to fight it off. But it's gone now, so thank goodness. If you get a bacterial infection, they're most likely going to treat that with antibiotics. If you get a viral infection, they can use antivirals, but it gets tricky because usually they'll only give you antivirals if it's something like shingles. So they're trying to prevent it from getting worse. Fungus, they'll give you fungal medication for that. If you think you have an infection, make sure you're going to your physician or specialist to make sure that you're getting the best treatment you can. Because we are immunosuppressed, we want to be careful and make sure that we essentially get rid of that infection. One thing to be cautious of is that lupus patients many times have a sulfa allergy. So even if you don't realize it, it's one thing that my doctor told me in the beginning, and I kind of have always just tried to avoid those antibiotics, especially because it could possibly cause a flare, and typically it makes you more sun sensitive and also can lower your white blood cell count. Next, I'm going to talk about some prevention tips. I'm sure you all do this all the time. Washing your hands. That's the number one thing, right? I am always washing my hands. If I touch a door, I wash my hands, even if it's in my house. I know, I'm ridiculous, but that's how cautious I am, because I know if I'm going to be touching my face, who knows if someone in my family, came home and touched the door and had germs on their hands. I don't know. Just being cautious. The next big thing would be just keeping everything clean in your house, making sure you're sanitizing everything and keeping up with that. And another thing is avoiding people who are sick. Stating the obvious, but it's true. You don't want to be sharing your toothbrush holder with someone that's sick, or just being in the same vicinity even. I try to completely avoid them because I know that I will get sick. This one is a tricky one, the influenza vaccine. I know vaccinations are a crazy topic right now, so I'm not gonna get into the politics of that, but I would ask your doctor or specialist what you think is best for you. My rheumatologists have always recommended I get the flu vaccine, so I always have. I haven't had any issues from that. Another one, I have gotten the pneumonia one in the past. It's just, I'd rather be safe than sorry. I haven't gotten the flu, luckily, in, knock on wood, a long time. So, happy for that. Another tip is eating a well-balanced diet and just taking care of yourself, making sure you're getting enough rest. This is something we should be doing with our illnesses anyway, and just trying to make sure things don't get any worse. Another one that not everyone knows about is when you get dental work done, you want to take antibiotics beforehand. An hour beforehand, you should be taking amoxicillin. And this is something that my rheumatologist had me do in the beginning, and from messages I've got previously, not everyone knows this little tidbit. It's a way for you to prevent getting infections within your mouth and just in general. So it's just a precaution. I think that about sums it up for this video. I just wanted to touch on infections because it is something that is common amongst us. In the comments below, don't forget to tell me your experiences with infections and what infections do you get the most. Thank you all for watching. As always, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and get notified. And I hope to see you next time. Another thing, I also started a Patreon account, so if you're wanting to see me in more places than one, I have already added a video on there, And yeah, I just really appreciate the support. It's a way to support creators you love. So thank you. All right, see you next time. Bye.